Well, so that was all blocked up, mate.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I'm gonna have to clean that tap out. Happens now and then.
I remove taps. I've only got one tap on my farms because they always block up all the time.
Yeah.
And then your worms,
sediment.
they go down the bottom sometimes and they don't drown. It takes about 4 days for them to drown. As you can see, like there's a worm floating around in there.
We go, yeah.
And if he's been in there around about 4 days,
yeah,
they let something out of their skin, some type of oxalic acid or something, and they don't actually drown. They kill themselves. That's the one that I sort of like recommend for doing veggie gardens and beds and a breeder box.
Yeah.
So really that's like an intermediate style farm, right? So this one, so what we'll do is, so I'll just explain a bit what the Taj Mahal system is. It's actually, so we've got 3 tiers on this one, which can be a 2 to 3 tier farm. And then the top ones have like sugarcane or some type of bale system in them, sugarcane or straw or something like that. And you've been feeding yours microgreens, these lots.
For this week I have, yeah. We've had a sunflower harvest. So
let's have a look inside.
These were from the harvest on 2 days ago.
Yeah, right. So they've got to break down a bit before they'll start eating that.
Absolutely, but that's on the top.
Yeah.
A lot of holes. There's a little bit of leaf in there.
And there's a lot of moisture locked in that as well. Like normally in a beginner farm, I would say that's too much food.
Yeah,
but on a Taj Mahal system, you can sort of pull it off because we're dealing with a lot more carbon inside the farms. And, you know, when you've got a lot of worms, they'll go through that pretty quick because as soon as that moisture locks out of there, it's just going to break down real fast, right?
Yeah, here you can see the old... Like
there's even like sunflower shell in there and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm imagining is a carbon type element to it all.
So how long's it taken before till that would disappear, do you reckon? All that
a week, mate.
Seriously,
it'll be breaking down.
Yep.
And they'll be definitely into it. And watching videos of yours in the past, I've taken levels off and put it into the garden, which I'll show you later.
Yeah. Can we just pull off another level and then we'll have a look in the garden as well.
So there's a
few what you're working with.
That was a bit of leftover.
Yeah, so they'll work over this part first and then they'll probably move up through into there. So you've got you start off about 1,000 in here, right? Yeah,
I just got a packet from Bunnings.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to actually put some more sugarcane into the farms now. Yeah, a bit more carbon.
Sure, mate. What about banana leaf?
Yeah, that would work. Yeah. Yeah, if it's free and it's just lying around, you just chop it up with some scissors and be just as good as sugarcane. Who knows, it might even be better. And let's get that, we're losing all that beautiful juice there.
No, mate, look at that. Bloody murder.
It's not going to fit under there, mate.
No,
Never mind. We'll sort it out later. But this juice that you've been getting out of there, now this is not leaching through. You're pouring it through a whole lot of water in one go, catching it, and then we take it over to this garden over here where we're going to go over and let's go. And
that's right, mate. And I
show people what you've been doing with the nutrient coming out of the farm.
These raised beds have been solely liquid fertilised foliar and drenched once a week from worm juice. You know?
Yeah, and just one farm, which is pretty mental, really.
Yeah,
imagine once you scale up, what you can.
I mean, not everything gets the same amount each week. But,
Yep.
You know, last week I put it on the celeriac heat, which is a very slow-growing, high-feeding crop, but you get a nice big root. Celeriac's, you probably can't see it. We've still got 3 months on this. It's in the celery family, but you eat the bulb root. But anyway, look at that. I mean, it's a heavy feeder, but it's looking happy.
You might have to turn off the sprinklers if we're going in there.
Yeah, we're getting wetter.
No, I don't care about me. I care about my camera.
That's right. So yeah, we just dilute this down. I do 2 parts to 8 parts water and just share it around between the plants.
Yeah, but you're mixing it in rainwater that you've got here, right? So you're not putting it straight into chlorine stuff and killing all the good microbes and that.
No, we have all our rainwater is harvested here. We aren't connected to the town system, so it's all safe water.
Okay, well just show us how we do that. Let's go and have a look at how you do mix this up, and we'll water around. I'll follow you around as you water some of the plants, and we can talk about.
I'll just get my watering can, eh?
Yeah, cool. So this is how you're doing it.
Yeah, mate.
Very old school, isn't it?
Old school,
modern technology here.
So that's about 1 part. Personally, I go 2 parts, so that'll take all of this water. And something I'm pretty big on with foliar feeding is, if it's going to get above 26 degrees soon, don't do it. Like, wait till very early morning or afternoon, because I know it's an organic product, but it can actually burn the leaves. Whereas you want to give it time to absorb. We'll just top that up with water.
So at the moment we're just going to be feeding the root zone.
Basically, yeah. I mean, a few of these plants are still in the shade for an hour or two, so I might hit the leaves of those cukes over there, the strawberries and parsley. Almost there. But mate, I'm just seeing brilliant results. I mean, yeah.
So where are we going, Pepe?
We're going to these continental cucumbers here, and we're going to just a quick foliar feed, and then we'll put the rest around the base of the plant.
Okay.
And I'll use this whole 10 litres, because usually I have a lot more.
Righto.
I'll show you exactly what I'm doing. So just a quick whip over the top. Trying to share it out between all the plants. You know, I've got some parsley here. My kids' strawberries. You know, these
Does that
roses,
block up?
It gets blocked. So that's why I take it off for the bottom feed. But I like to not waste it on the foliar feed. It blocks up. I've got to drill the little trick. You just get a soldering iron and make the holes bigger.
Yeah, okay. That's a good tip.
When you got 8 kids, they pinch everything off you.
But everything looks really healthy, and so in a little while you're going to show me inside some of the soil.
Yes.
And how many, like, how alive the soil is, just full of worms, right? You showed me earlier.
So. I was watching a video of yours where you take a tear off your Taj Mahal and you leave it in your garden.
Stick it on top.
Stick it on top, and they'll go down in, and I actually left them down in the garden.
Yeah, awesome,
So
awesome.
You're going to see some
Yeah,
crazy...
it's a way to transfer them across, and as long as you've got plenty of mulch, I'll stay happy. So
That's right.
Let's go and have a look at that as we walk past some of the garden beds here.
Marty, come have a look at this. Alright, this is where I originally put it. This bed, homemade, filled with our microgreen hot compost.
So what are you saying, you put what where?
So I put I put the level of the Taj Mahal here.
Yeah,
I
so
sat it on
top tray of the worm farm.
Yeah, and I left the lid on because it was here for a day or two. And now check this out. Yeah. Now this bed's filled up with our hot composted microgreens.
Look at them jumping, look.
Oh, it's like fishing. Like, anyway.
Ew.
So they're certainly doing their job. Look at this beautiful. Yeah.
And obviously a lot of the native worms would be driving up through into here too.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
I mean, they're coming from underneath.
Yeah.
It's not sealed.
That's so good. Just good to see like a live soil from that, right?
Absolutely. That's just black gold doing that. All right, Marty, welcome to my compost area. This is a sole area for container gardening. Now we have 2 inputs here, and we have a third one that will be in the bucket down there, but basically we mix it up here on site. They are commercial inputs that we bring in from an external source, but they are customized to my specifications. So for example, I have a drainage type compost, and I have a water retention type compost, which we then mix together at certain ratios, and then we add finally, as the NPK value of it, a blend of seaweed fines, what else, sort of potassium and calcium in organic forms.
Okay, so that's the elements for them to uptake inside the pot. So instead of adding like nitrates and things like that, you're using organic fertilizers and systems basically to put into the potting mixes. Now you've got 2 different types of mediums So tell us about the two different types of mediums, what you have.
Sure. The medium here on my right, or maybe your left, is a composted bark material, and it also has an element that is an organic type of perlite. Now it's a wood shaving, and it's certified organic, but you know, conventional farming they use perlite. I use this fiber. That's the best way I can put it. It's a fiber. We can go up close and have a look at it. That adds your drainage aspect, and on the left to me is another commercial input from a composting farm that's local to me called Living Farm Australia. Now they compost down hot composting, and it's a nitrogen rich mix of they add in their own composted manures, and it takes them about 12 months to make a batch, and we mix them together with the fertilizer input I said earlier. So what do you want to do? Pick up some? All right.
So we're diving in to have a look at the pile here, mate, and we're talking about, this is not retention pile, this is pile A. This is
pile A, and let's call it drainage pile A. So it's a blend of the pine bark, and as I was saying earlier, those fibers, those wood fibers. Now they're and it's a blend of rock mineral dusts. We use a blue metal dust and other rock minerals that are natural and organic. And now this ratio in our mix is 60%. So we want this, particularly for microgreens, because they're fast growers. We want the roots to be able to go all the way down and easily move through the medium. So
yeah, so it's a fibrous blend, is what we're saying.
Yes,
so
yeah, exactly.
Not everyone's going to get the same blends, but one of the things, the problems that I see wrong with these mediums when you buy them, it's either one or the other, and you're blending the two together to get a better mix, which I really like. So this has really good drainage, but it's not going to store much moisture, right?
That's correct.
So the pots could dry out really quickly if you were just to use that.
Absolutely. And like you said, the potting mixes you buy from the shops, they're quick money for the companies, but not a lot of thought going into it.
Let's have a look at the other pile so people can understand, because
sure,
you can make this with a lot of different things, just with different carbon blends and things like that, and putting your minerals and stuff into it, and then using a compost, say from a compost tumbler at home, to make something like this. Now you'd be pretty hard pressed to get something as good as this quickly, because this takes about 12 months to make. But just give us a look at, so this is what we call a retention compost, right?
Okay, and I call it black gold. Now this is commercially made, and high water retention, beautiful microbe activity, lots of little sticks and stuff for, I call it little condos for the microbes, you know, they're somewhere to live and breed. But once this is wet, like this is a bit dry, but now our ratio of that is about 35%. So it'll be your water retention, and mixing them. See, this is dry mix, and it's still sort of holding together if I do that. Yeah,
so little sticks and twigs is where the microbes and fungi and stuff like that's going to attach itself to.
Yes.
Which is going to help the plants grow, and they're feeding the soil basically.
And that's where we feed the microbes with the 5% fertilizer or additive input of seaweed meal and rock minerals and things like that at the cement mixer.
Right. So basically, if someone's going to do something like this at home, they can do it in a compost tumbler to get something really close.
Yeah.
By maybe just throwing in all their veggie scraps, all their everything, and just making sure no weed seeds and things come up, I guess.
Absolutely. You can do it at home. Like, we're a commercial farm, so you don't have to imagine a pile like this. But if you're doing some small container gardens or some raised beds, just keep it going, you know.
Yeah, so if they're doing two blends, a retention blend, and what's the other blend?
Drainage.
And drainage. Mix them together.
And you know, you don't want too much retention, you don't want too much drainage, but for me to grow microgreens, it's a 60-40 type blend. For you, you could probably go 50-50.
So in a big pot, 50-50?
Big pot 50-50.
And what about like if you're doing like a hack at the end? Would you put like a little bit more of the compost at the bottom of the pot?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. And
just to hold a bit of extra retention.
I do a bit of lasagna in the bottom, and then put my mixed.
So lasagna's making sort of some levels.
Yeah,
the bottom of the pot. So that's just, you know, that's just sometimes it's overkill, but
it's just us.
Yeah, it's just something you get that maybe that little bit extra 5% better than someone else, right? And
absolutely, mate.
Sometimes that shines through in the results. So thank you so much for showing us a part of your composting system. That is just absolutely brilliant.
This is thanks, Marty.
So we're here at 560 Farms and we've been moving around doing the vlog with Pepe Fassos. It's been really great fun. We've learned so much already, and you know, I'm learning all the time as we go around this farm as well. And what we've got here is his whole market garden area. So we've looked at the microgreens, we've looked at the compost, we've looked at his worm farming systems, and it's really, really great. Now, he's told me that what he's doing now is he's introducing no-till systems into the market gardens here, using all these composts and stuff that he's getting on site. Some of it he's getting in, and then he's blending and making it and bringing it out into here. And what he's doing is he's creating these rows. So, and we've spoken a lot about this, Pepe and I, in the past, about how you, with no-till systems, is actually getting the manure and the chips and things like that breaking down in between each row. So then you're actually like just coming along and taking it out of the middle of that row and then putting it back onto the pile and then replacing through the center line as well. So you're just building the soil profile the whole time, and then you can plant, you can rotate crops, things like that. So there isn't such a thing as the problem of crop rotation so much, because you're always putting in new soil implements and you're not building up bad biology in the soil or any pests that might live in the soil, such as a bad nematode that may attack roots and things like that. So it's absolutely brilliant, and we can do this at home just by working on scale. And so we can have like a square foot farm, or 2 meters by 2 meters area, and building. So we're making rows, and then we're actually like planting each row so we can walk up in between and then grab that wood chip and that mulch and just put it back onto the row. They do this in syntropic farming as well. They do it in all types of organic farms these days. It is the killer method to not disturbing your biology. I've been arguing for people for years and years about digging systems, and now the world, well, I'm not saying they're taking notice of me, because there's plenty of other people talking about it as well, but it's just been so long, the fight, and it's so great to see systems like this in place, and you can implement it at home at your space just by having compost and some type of wood chip blend or some type of carbon to put over the soil surface as you would a mulch. Brilliant way to garden, and much easier on the back, even though you are sort of digging down a bit. You're just not getting in with a hoe and the mattock and the whole lot and just killing your soil life. So stoked to be here on 560 Farms and show you around and show you ways that you can implement at home, as well as if you're into market gardening and doing all that stuff. So Pepe, I've noticed you've got some homegrown tomatoes in here, and these are for your family, you were saying, and you've got a few different varieties. So what I'm going to do is just show me the varieties and then talk about the compost medium size of pot and how you grow tomatoes organically, because you're a certified organic farmer, but as you said, these are for your family.
Absolutely.
And people can do this at home. So I'm really interested in your method because they're so healthy, and you can run us by the plants and give us a breakdown. That would be great. I'll follow you through.
Okay, mate. Starting with the varieties, we have a cherry tomato, a Roma, and 2 beefsteak varieties. They're both the same. So I've chosen that just to mix it up a little bit, because as you said, they're for us at home. But I'm blessed to be able to grow these all year round because it's such a high temperature and humidity in here. This is a 120 litre pot. It's ample, much more than you need, but it enables you to not have to ditch the whole lot after your plant's finished. You can just add to and recharge it. So First of all, when setting up the pot, I make sure I've got a lot of calcium in there, which comes, well, we add a high phosphate, high potassium mix of natural organic elements that I can show you later, Marty, but that'll stop your blossom end rot and make sure you get a good tomato every time, which these are just starting out in the, oh, here we go, make a liar of them, but you know, they're just ready from the get-go. Now, they're looking so healthy because, okay, again, tomatoes are heavy feeders, but you've got to have that balance of nitrogen versus your, well, your PKs, so your potassium and your calcium for later on. So you want, I personally, I throw it in all at once and then I'll cut back on my nitrogen, which could be a worm juice or, you know, just something to activate those microbes to release the nitrogen that's in there, okay? That's the difference, and I could rave for hours about organics right now, how nitrogen...
Give us a look at the like the material in the pot.
Yeah.
So
that's a good example. Like this
just show us what's in here and just give us a bit of a rundown.
This is a commercially bought certified organic compost from Living Farm Australia. Now they're just down the road from me actually, but they I use this in my microgreen pots, and it's just loaded with microbes. And then further down I've got my bark blend, which I will show you later, we mix together for our microgreen pots. So that's going to add your drainage. Your compost will add your water retention. And you notice it's not too wet. Tomatoes don't like too much water. So I'll water these guys probably once every 3 days. And voila.
Yeah, awesome. So 120 litre pot approximately for grow a large plant.
Yep.
Are you picking any of the shoots off the sides?
Yeah, I'm getting there. You'll notice I'm staying on top of it.
You've got 2 or 3 central litres in these ones.
Pull out these auxiliaries. I've already taken them out so you can see a bit of a scab.
Yep.
And then, yeah, get your litres, and then these have got to be tied up soon.
Yeah, so the thickness of the actual trunk is what's really quite impressive. Like they tell people, when you've got a really good compost, you can see that it's strong. Like you go to squeeze that, it's not soft. So a pest comes along and lands on that and wants to drop something in there or pierce it, he goes, oh, I'm going somewhere else. It's just the cell structure is too strong, you know?
Yes.
And they're not interested in as much. And obviously inside, because you're inside a greenhouse, it would solve a lot of pest problems as well that want to come and attack like beef steaks. Like I don't grow beef steaks outside because the birds will get them or something will just get them before I get them. Generally, not always, but you know, if I hide them in the permaculture systems, they work. But anyway, look, any other last tips for growing tomatoes that you'd like to share with the group? And I'll just bring the camera around this way a little bit.
No, just keep that NPK balance from the start, and then back off on your nitrogen and keep that calcium flowing towards the end is my advice. You're going to get fruit set the whole way through with no blossom end rot.
So we're here at 560 Farms and we've been moving around doing the vlog with Pepe Fassos. It's been really great fun. We've learned so much already, and you know, I'm learning all the time as we go around this farm as well. And what we've got here is his whole market garden area. So we've looked at the microgreens, we've looked at the compost, we've looked at his worm farming systems, and it's really great. Now he's told me that what he's doing now is he's introducing no-till systems into the market gardens here, using all these composts and stuff that he's getting on site. Some of it's getting in and then he's blending and making it and bringing it out into here. And what he's doing is he's creating these rows. So, and we've spoken a lot about this, Pepe and I, in the past, about how you, with no-till systems, is actually getting the manure and the chips and things like that breaking down in between each row. So then you're actually like just coming along and taking it out of the middle of that row and then putting it back onto the pile and then replacing through the center line as well. So you're just building the soil profile the whole time, and then you can plant, you can rotate crops, things like that. So there isn't such a thing as the problem of crop rotation so much, because you're always putting in new soil implements and you're not building up bad biology in the soil or any pests that might live in the soil, such as a bad nematode that may attack roots and things like that. So it's absolutely brilliant, and we can do this at home just by working on scale. And so we can have like a square foot farm, or 2 meters by 2 meters area, and building. So we're making rows, and then we're actually like planting each row so we can walk up in between and then grab that wood chip and that mulch and just put it back onto the row. They do this in syntropic farming as well. They do it in all types of organic farms these days. It is the killer method to not disturbing your biology. I've been arguing for people for years and years about digging systems, and now the world, well, I'm not saying they're taking notice of me, because there's plenty of other people talking about it as well, but it's just been so long, the fight, and it's so great to see systems like this in place, and you can implement it at home, at your space, just by having compost and some type of wood chip blend or some type of carbon to put over the soil surface as you would a mulch. Brilliant way to garden, and much easier on the back, even though you are sort of digging down a bit. You're just not getting in with a hoe and the mattock and the whole lot and just killing your soil life. So stoked to be here on 560 Farms and show you around and show you ways that you can implement at home, as well as if you're into market gardening and doing all that stuff. So what do we got here, Pepe?
Welcome. My upcycled backyard rose bed garden plot. This was originally for us to eat our own veggies at home, and we still do, but we also incorporate it into our farm now. And it's a brilliant, it's probably what, a 80 square meter space, and you've got both raised beds and you've got vertical growing with the arches, so you're utilizing every aspect of space. And with the seasons, through summer you can grow cucumbers. These are cucumber melons, a South American mouse melon, just a small gourmet cucumber. And you can also grow in the beds themselves, so you can put your carrots or lettuce or whatnot. I mean, we've got a whole another farm out the back, so I don't need to do that. But over there, for example, are beetroots, and where we just were looking at the worms.
So can you give me an idea on the materials, what you're using to make something like this? Because I think it's a really good system for someone in their backyard, and even to add like little underground worm farms at the end, or attach things to it to actually make it self-fertilise.
Absolutely.
So yeah, give us a rundown on the materials, please.
Well, I'm in love with Gumtree. It's a Australian app where you can source second-hand products, but a lot of this came from Gumtree. So here we've got some recycled roof, so colour bond. I go for mostly the tin that's not painted, but beggars can't be choosers. This is some 2-inch rural ag pipe that someone didn't want, and I think they charged me 20 bucks, so I took that. This wire, just have a look for farm materials online, marketplace, on Facebook, anything. So we've just strung this up, some old star pickets, and that's it, mate. I mean, set the dimensions that you want first, and then draw it out on paper and think about how you can add on, or you're utilising every square inch of that space, because if you've only got a little backyard, you can grow up and vertical and parallel.
So you're using star pickets to hold it together, though? I just wanted to look at...
Yeah, I am. It's, they're not high pressure beds, so it's not going to pull apart, but star picket acts as a resistance, so it doesn't flop open on you, but it also adds this ability to add the 2-inch rural pipe. Just slides on, arches over, and then you just set the wire over and flip it on. Happy days.
Yeah, awesome system. You can put some little worm farms at either end too. Absolutely. Some underground ones if you want to go in that direction. So you're going to take us up to the farm now. Yeah. So this is a great example of flat leaf parsley growing in a container here at 560 Farms. Now, my friend Pepe Fassos, he's using them, he's selling it bunches at the markets, eating it at home also as well, and then mixing it through into his different blends and things like that. And look how well they grow in containers in a beautiful compost made just for container gardening. Now, the flavour in these would be great, and the benefits of growing something like this in an organic blend is the cell structure is just so much stronger. When I grabbed that and snapped it, I could hear the crunch. You can taste the celery flavour in it as well. Great in cooking, and just chopping it up and going chop, chop, chop in the little pieces and adding it into your stir fries and different mixes and things like that. It's actually one of the blends that I think they use a lot when you're making vegetable stocks and stuff. The stem. Don't forget the stem. Brilliant stuff. I also like the inside of the leaves, the small ones, when it's popping through. So, great example of how you can grow flat leaf parsley at home.